Before we get started, shout out Drake. Special shout out to Drake.
Hello and welcome to the SML Podcast. This is SML Total Access, is whatever you want to call it. I'm Primetime000, and with me today is Woods, our Cleveland Browns owner. What's going on, man?
The one and done Cleveland Browns on how we doing, man.
I watched that game. Looked like you almost had an epic comeback. Can you walk me through kind of your season and how it ended?
I uh I started out kind of rough. I didn't think I'd hit a stride to where I'd get some type of identity. Um I pretty much went against the grain a lot. I don't really like targeting one guy offensively, but Odell honestly on offense carried us through this season. He had almost 1,700 yards if he didn't, 18 touchdowns.
Mm.
Next closest guy was, of course, Landry with 600 yards. Callaway had another six, but they had six touchdowns and then four, respectively. Chubb almost had 1,000 yards. He had 10 touchdowns, so that was good. And the defense was finally starting to kind of get to where I wanted. We're still having issues stopping the run, even though we didn't today. We did at times, which it kind of reared its ugly head at the wrong times. But I think the draft will pretty much solidify everything. Because if I'm to be honest with this team, I won't be very aggressive in free agency because I got Ward, Baker, and Chubb coming up for re-sign. So
You're going to be dishing out the contracts, that's for sure.
yeah,
All,
yeah.
all that being said, would you still chalk the season up to be a success? I know season one didn't quite turn out the way you wanted it to. Is this kind of what you were expecting?
Yeah, just any improvement I consider it a win. We were 8-8 last season, 10-6 this season. The upside of it was five of those wins came in the division,
Mm,
so I wasn't too upset about that. I finally split with Meats. Um, that was an encouraging sign.
yeah.
Um, and I lost some close ones. I lost a close one to you. I shot myself in the foot on that one. I lost by
Yeah.
two to Grams. I lost by three or two to Gov. There was some close ones where it could have went either way. So I took some positivity out of this season. I wouldn't call it a failure. Now if I go 5-11 next season and I didn't build on anything.
Right. I look at your schedule. You had a crazy schedule to start in terms of difficult opponents, but you managed to kind of right the ship and make that playoff push at the end. You did bring up Meats, and I guess we'll talk about him a little bit. Then we'll kind of hit on the playoff matchups. You split the schedule with Meats. Is he a legitimate contender? Let's just get that out of the way, or is he the folding chair like everybody seems to like labeling him?
I, I think Meats he I think sometimes he puts himself down so he doesn't get a bit of a disappointment. But that team, it's young enough on the offensive side of the ball to for him not to really be down offensively. He runs the hell out of it, and with that offensive line, I still have no idea why, but he does. Lamar's a big X factor with him because if you shut down the running game, and if you can even contain his passing game, he can take off on you, and with the speed he's got, he's getting at least 20 yards a pop.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to be wary of that too. Um, his defense is, to me, kind of, I'll say middle aged. He does have some young talent. He does have some older guys that are getting older, of course. Earl Thomas, some of his other guys, but um, I think he'll actually, I think he'll actually probably make it to the AFC title game.
Wow, there you go. He does play. He plays Royce next. Royce beat you, so what do you think about Royce? Then that's a good segue.
Royce is a good player. The 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 big thing with Royce is he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He will stick to the running game, and that was my plan going in. Just kind of make him beat me with the pass, and for the most part, he did that in the first half. I wasn't really counting on Jack Doyle to do what he did. He uh he was a saving grace, and when I use her, and I hope I'm not putting any secrets out there, but I don't usually like to run all over the field. I'll kind of stick to my assignment,
Right.
and some of his routes where I thought he was going out, he went in, and vice versa. So a lot of that was my fault, but I mean, he had a good game plan. I hurt Le'Veon, and he still stuck with it. He had that kid that the Raiders had last year. I can't remember his name, but he had some good runs, and that run at the end with Donald, I think it
Right.
was a 12-yard run to get first and goal or something like that. That was really the straw that broke the camel's back. But he's vulnerable not having Bell, and I think that'll swing in Meat's favor.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Royce, I think Bell was the MVP this year.
Yes.
So that goes to show the amount of reliance Royce had on Bell. Switching gears to the other AFC game we have in the wild card round, that is the Bills 12-4 against the Colts 12-4. What do you think about the Bills?
Uh, he's a very good player, and he's a good user. I think I played him last season, and it amazed me on some of his reads that he was making with his user, because I
Hmm,
some of the chances he took I wouldn't take it, but he patrols the middle of the field very well.
interesting.
So um, I look out for that. I can't remember much, but I think he's a good balanced player offensively as well.
Um, so do you have any predictions, Colts Bills?
Uh, I think Colts pull it out in a close one, maybe 31-27.
There you go. Cowboys and Seahawks. You got Grams, who he always seems to do it. He sneaks his way into the playoffs against the 13-3, not a bye week, Seattle Seahawks, future empire, the other Woods. Who do you got in that one?
Oh man, this is a tough one. To me, I think this game can still swing either way. Grams has got to, and I know it might be hard for him to do. He's got to try and stick to the run,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how bleak it looks in the first quarter, second quarter,
Yes.
and he's got to commit to kind of stopping Future with his run game as well. Because if he doesn't, then Future's just going to run all over him. And even if Future isn't successful, he does have some nice passing plays, play action plays to help open up the run game again if you're stopping it early. So uh, I'll also make that a close one. Probably, well, I'll
That's
make
all right.
that one 24-20 Future.
There you go. I agree. I agree with that. I think Future's just been too good this cycle, and Graham's 10-6, great player, but hasn't quite had the same success he usually does. Still, obviously, very very possible that he wins that game.
Yeah.
Our last wild card matchup is a man who's revived the Green Bay Packers and Lawyer Killer against NYT and the Falcons. And this game intrigues me. Obviously, NYT's back in the playoffs, but Lawyer Killer's probably playing angry here because NYT took his Falcons.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Yeah, you're right. That could work one of two ways. Laurie could know the Falcons, their ins and outs, of course, as far as personnel goes. It's no secret who NYT wants to go to. Um, man, that to me that's a tough one to call because I'll go I'll go Laurie Killer also in a close one.
Yeah, I think.
This is gonna be a high score, 42-38.
Yeah, I think it'll be a high scoring game. And Lord Killer's clutch, man. He's got that playoff gene that. Um,
Yeah, when he gets in the playoffs, he's a whole different animal. So I
so
I, I think he pulls it out, but it's gonna be high scoring.
so out of switching gears now a little bit to the bye week teams in the AFC, you've got Meats, you've got Haas. In the NFC, you've got the Bears, and you've got the Eagles. Which of the NFC or out of the just altogether out of the bye week teams are most likely to make a run at this whole thing?
Oh boy, uh, man, knowing how I played Gov, I I think Gov has his offense is light years right now above anyone else, and I only say that because he's passing the ball so well. So I mean, you really you really never know. I mean, he could turn it on in a run game or anything like that, and that defense is crazy
Right.
with the way he blitzes, and then he's got Cox that can't be double teamed. That's I don't barring anything Madden related, I don't see anyone kind of stopping him in the NFC. I mean, I'm sorry to the other guys, but I've seen it firsthand, and I've watched some of his games. He does seem a bit unstoppable right now.
Watching that game, Meats and him, he put up like 6 touchdowns with Carson Wentz, and Meats was fighting for what he thought a bye week at the time. So that was a playoff game, I think, a little maybe a Super Bowl preview, and Gov just looked too good and unstoppable, like you said. So to the AFC, do you think Haas is on his comeback season? Seems like he's getting healthy still. What do you think about that?
I think he is. Haas is so dangerous because I like Lawyer. Uh, Haas is consistent, and in the playoffs he can run rampant too. I know last Madden his issue was not playing you in the playoffs,
Yeah.
but I mean with that Chiefs team, Tyreek, Miko,
Hmm.
he's got Coleman, he's got speed on the offense like he likes,
Right.
and I think that's that middle linebacker he's got too. He's wrecking havoc. He was I think defensive player of the year. You got Mahomes that can throw that thing from
Everywhere.
anywhere on the field. So he'll also he'll get as far as he can get if he doesn't let the ghost of you kind of trip him up.
That being said, final question. What's your Super Bowl predictions? Book it right now. We need a guaranteed Super Bowl prediction. And who's going to win it all?
Guaranteed Super Bowl lock right now. It'll be an old song and dance from the AFC championships of last year, Govern Prime.
There you go.
I've got I may have Gov winning this thing,
Gov is good.
but I'll have to tell you some things off off of the
Please
podcast,
do,
I
because I'll
guess.
need all the help I can get after watching his games. So I could not complain with that. Gov is a great player, and obviously it'll be interesting to see. I think Future has a great chance. Obviously, Oshie is wanting the revenge, redemption. And we got some tough guys at the AFC, so it's an exciting time. Season 2, playoffs, always a great time in the SML. The mic is yours. You can say whatever you want.
Uh, Good season, guys. Very good season. Looking forward to the off season to see what everyone does in free agency, what guys grab who to kind of put whatever teams over the top. We've got some new blood in the AFC North. Can't wait to see what they do in the upcoming offseason and in the draft. And let's make this a good offseason.
Yes, sir. Well,
And
that
good
was
luck to the remaining teams in the playoffs.
yes. Exciting time once again. That was Woods, our Cleveland Browns owner. Thanks for coming on the show. He usually does this annually by season, I should say. That was Woods. So once again, thanks for coming on, and you have a good day.
All right, man.